Hi, this is Rajat, and in this video I'm going to show you how to get started with XetHub in 10 minutes with the expressed goal today of getting a dataset off of my machine, loaded in XetHub, and me using it from Python. Let's get into it. So to get started with XetHub, first you go to XetHub.com and go ahead and sign up if you don't have an account. Signing up is easy. Just fill out a few fields and your account is created, or you can sign in with an existing account. I'll sign in with my GitHub account. So when you sign into XetHub, the first thing you're brought to is the quick start. And so as a new user, you'll go through these steps to install and set up your machine to work with XetHub. This involves installing the Git extension, XetZet, setting up your credentials, and then installing those credentials on your machine. I've already done these steps, so I won't show you how to do them today, but they should only take a couple minutes. So I said my goal today was to create a new machine learning project and get a data set off of my machine and into XetHub. So when you get to XetHub and you sign in and you've gone through the install steps, you'll see that it looks and feels just like GitHub. So let's create a new project. And this particular project is about crime data. So I'm going to create a repository called crime, and I'll click create Zet repository. All right, now I've got it. So the next thing to do is to clone it locally onto my laptop and then put my data or put my files into this repo. So I'll copy my clone command, then head on over to my terminal, and I'll clone this into a directory of my choosing. I'll paste that command in, and now I'm cloning into that. I'm cloning that repository locally. So here you go. This is a Git repo. So I can call git status. I can see my shell knows this is a Git repo and tells me what branch I'm on and that the branch is clean. There's no files in it that are not tracked by Git. So let's go ahead and create a data directory, and then let's move our, I told you I want to get this file off my machine. So I want to move a file that's called SPD crime data from 2008 to present. So this is Seattle Police Department crime data. So I'll move this into the new data directory, and right away, my shell tells me that there are files that are untracked in this repository. So what do we do when we've got that? When we're adding new files to Git, we call git add. And what XetHub is doing now is it's processing these files. And this is a key piece to how our technology works. To allow you to work on really large projects that are terabytes in size, we represent the files in the repository using, we represent them in a deduplicated data block structure, a Merkle tree. And this is what allows us to track changes to files without needing to upload and download the complete file. So this is a key piece to how XetHub scales your machine learning projects or scales Git to your ML projects or generative AI application projects. All right, I've got this file added. Let's commit. And I think this is from a couple days ago. And now let's push. And so in the git add step, we scanned the files and uploaded. We were not able to deduplicate anything. So the ratio of what we're storing in our backend is 100% of what we have on local disk. That's understandable for new files that the system's never seen, but as this file takes changes, you'll see that the amount that gets uploaded is really small. And then when I call git push, we start uploading the data blocks that represent this file. And what you can see about this is we saw a couple spurious messages about insert rejected, and a couple of error messages that are, again, just retried and goes away. And this is often the case when working on my home Wi-Fi. I find that sometimes uploading things is not as consistent as I'd like. And sure enough, in a few seconds, we're done, and and this file has been pushed. In fact, let's refresh on the server side, and you can see here on the right-hand side from XetHub.com exactly what we saw locally, that the repository size on disk is 214 megabytes and stored with XetHub is also 214 megabytes. Okay, that sounds good. Now, I said I want to work on this file without having to keep it local. So let's do that. The file name, I just want to copy this so that I remember it. So I will do that. Let's remove this directory. I don't need it anymore. And now let's start my Python environment to get this going. So I have a virtual environment. Since I do all of my work in Python for ML projects, as much as I use Git every day, when I'm doing machine learning work, I want to stay in Python. So XetHub offers an open source Python package called PyXet, and that's what I'm going to use to read from my XetHub repo directly into a pandas data frame. Let me show you how I do that. So I'll start up IPython. Actually, before I do this, let's install PyXet. It's just pip install PyXet. I've already had it installed into this virtual environment, but that's all you need to do. So now let's import PyXet. Now let's import pandas. And now let's go and read this CSV. Oops. So what do I need to do to read from my XetHub repo? All I have to do is call read CSV, start my URL to the file with zet://, and then the repo name, which is Rajat Arya Crime, the branch name, which is main, and then the file name, or the file path, which in our case is data, and then spd-crime-data 2008 to present, and then off we go. So you can see that the first time we're accessing this file, there's a little bit of initialization needed, but now I've got my repo. In fact, let me save this as a data frame. So we'll call crime equals, and I can just specify that it's _3. And now let's look. So you can see that there are, 1,053,000 rows and 17 columns. And I'm often running with this CSV file as a pandas data frame without needing to have it on my machine. And so just like that, a 214 megabyte file, I'm working with it, though it's being stored remotely, I'm working with it within Python the way that I would for anything else that I'm working on. So that's what I wanted to show with XetHub today, how easy it is to get started, stay in the Python workflow, and work on machine learning projects with XetHub. Thanks.